The German police has a special protection armor for knife attacks. The longest river in France dried up today. Amid a drought, the Dinosaur Valley State Park has discovered dinosaur footprints that have historically been covered by water and sediment. They date back more than 113 million years. Soldiers in the German army are allowed to disobey any order they think would violate human dignity. In 1663, the partial fossilized skeleton of a woolly rhinoceros was discovered in Germany. This is the Magdeburg unicorn, one of the worst fossil reconstructions in human history. In 1983, Steve Jobs typed this reply to a letter asking for his autograph. "Dear M. Veron, I'm honored that you'd write, but I'm afraid I don't sign autographs. Sincerely, Stephen P. Jobs." 21-year-old Canadian named Terry Fox started a cross-Canada marathon to raise money for cancer research after losing a leg to the disease. He ran a full marathon daily before his cancer worsened and forced him to stop. He completed 143 days and 5,373 kilometers, 38 miles. He passed away in 1981. In 1916 there was a proposed amendment to the US Constitution that would put all acts of war to a national vote, and anyone voting yes would have to register as a volunteer for service in the United States Army. In Australia, your tax return document shows where your tax money was spent. Marriage advice for young ladies from a suffragette, 1918. Advice on marriage. To young ladies. 1. Do not marry at all. 2. But if you must avoid the beauty men, flirts and the bounders, tennis dummies, and the football enthusiasts. 3. Look for a strong tame man, a firelighter, coal getter, window cleaner, and yard swiller. 4. Don't expect too much. Most men are lazy, selfish, thoughtless, lying, drunken, clumsy, heavy-footed, rough, unmanly brutes, and need taming. 5. All bachelors are, and many are worse still. 6. If you want him to be happy, feed the brute. 7. The same remark applies to dogs. 8. You will be wiser not to chance it. It isn't worth the risk. A suffragette wife. An average husky next to a grey wolf. The world's thinnest skyscraper in New York City. 2-year-old girl bites and kills 20-inch snake after it bit her in her garden. Twinkies and Pop-Tarts in Swedish disgusting food museum. Diplomas to be received by Ukrainian students who went to war and were killed. Memorial in Lviv. Kazakhstan is photoshopping their leaders' photos without even trying to be subtle. Albert Einstein, his secretary and daughter became US citizens to avoid returning to Nazi Germany in 1940. Arizona fireman putting out a Mexican fire. Ken Allen, 1971 to 2000, was an orangutan at the San Diego Zoo. Not only did he escape 3 times, his peers began following his example and escaped too. He outwitted zookeepers, even when they posed as visitors. During his escapes, Ken would peacefully stroll around the zoo looking at other animals. In honor of the 100th anniversary of Bessie Coleman, the first black woman to earn a pilot's license, American Airlines operated a flight out of Dallas with an all-black all-female crew. From the pilots and flight attendants to cargo team members and aviation maintenance technicians. In 2001, actor Mark Ruffalo had a realistic dream that he had a brain tumor, despite no previous signs. He went to see a doctor due to the vividness of his dream. The doctor ordered a scan and discovered that Ruffalo did indeed have a brain tumor, which was subsequently removed. Restored, enhanced, and colorized this 155-plus-year-old portrait of a girl in a striped dress 1865. G's golden langur. Researchers have said that this monkey works hard to avoid human interactions, making them extremely difficult to observe in the wild. After beating up his master, a former slave named Bass Reeves escaped to freedom during the Civil War. And years later, he became one of the most feared lawmen in the Wild West. As the first black deputy US Marshal to patrol the region, Reeves reportedly arrested 3,000 outlaws. There are some reverse zoos around the world that put you in cages and let the animals exhibit you instead. Anti-metric system poster from 1917. What has he done to deserve this? One of the most expensive and sought after coffees in the world is called Kopi Luwak or civet coffee. It's made from coffee cherries literally shut out by a nation civet. The digestion process causes the beans to ferment, making them an extraordinary quality. My paint stirrer after 10 years of usage. Letter from neighbor in Japan. Moved to Japan. Met my neighbor. I can't speak English. Thank you for the present. My name is Hiroshi Yamashita. I'm 52 years old. The divorce and I live alone. You can use it if you like. I'm stuffed in toilet paper. Do you have navy? Yes, no. Please tell me your child's name. Thank you for your friend operation. A mouse that was found in a barrel of degreaser. You didn't win the spam race. According to new research from Stockholm University, you didn't win the spam race, but rather was selected by the female egg that chose you by releasing compounds called chemoattractants that can trigger spam to change swimming directions by attracting or repelling spams of its choice. None of these people are real. The images were created with a text-to-image generation model called Stable Diffusion with the prompt portrait of an average country male. America has existed for 3 adult lifetimes. If you sue Samuel Thatcher, July 1st 1776 to July 18th 1872, and Charles Greeley Abbott, May 31st 1872 to December 17th 1973, your third adult lifetime could be Monica Lewinsky, Sergey Brin or Rose McGowan. This is deeply disturbing for me, I don't know why. In 2014, Breaking Bad star Aaron Paul was walking down a parking lot and saw pop icon Rihanna sprinting towards him. She hugged him and took this photo. Aaron said he was surprised Rihanna knew him. The Canberra transport photo was taken to illustrate the road space required to move 69 people using public transport, bicycles and private motor vehicles. They make artillery suppressors. Free climbers are interesting as duck. In the 1880s, the Harvard Observatory director was frustrated with his staff and would say my Scottish maid could do better. So, he hired his Scottish maid. William Inner Fleming ran a team for decades, classified tens of thousands of stars, and discovered white dwarfs in the Horsehead Nebula. In 1913, Sarah Rector, a 10-year-old black girl, received a land allotment of 160 acres in Oklahoma. The best farming land was reserved for whites, so she was given a barren plot. Oil was soon discovered there, and she became the country's first black millionaire. A flood can be a great opportunity to turn your home into an aquarium. On the night of October 6, 1998, Matthew Shepard was beaten, tortured, and left to die. His mere death brought national and international attention and would change hate crime legislation in the US forever. Young oyster shuckers, Port Royal, South Carolina, 1909. Children as young as 6 years old started work at 4 a.m. This Japanese diplomat saved thousands of Jews by risking his life. Shun Sugihara, an unsung hero. This man saved 6,000 Jews. He was a Japanese diplomat in Lithuania when the Nazis began rounding up Jews. Sugihara risked his life by issuing unlawful travel visas to Jews. He handwrote them 18 hours a day. the day his consulate closed and he had to evacuate. Witnesses claim he was still writing visas and throwing from the train as he pulled away. He saved 6,000 lives. The world did not know what he had done until Israel honored him in 1985, the year before he died. Sometimes it's important to know where you're standing. Here is Joseph Dekreutz in a collection of self-portraits, a man ahead of his time. I think it's secure to say he's the world's first Redditor. This is an image of GPS tracking of multiple wolves in 6 different packs around Voyageurs National Park, Minnesota, which shows the evidence of how territorial the wolves are. In March of 1999, waitress Tonda Dickerson was tipped a lottery ticket and won $10 million. She was then sued by her colleagues for their share. Thomas Jefferson's 6th great-grandson recreates his photo. John Morton Finney was a Buffalo soldier who fought in World War I, earned 11 degrees, and practiced law until he was 106 years old. He was believed to be the longest practicing attorney in the United States. The photos that helped end child labor in the United States. Someone entered this in a robotics contest. They were immediately disqualified. Leonardo da Vinci's last words were, "I have offended God and mankind by doing so little with my life." On January 19, 1981, heavyweight champ Muhammad Ali became so upset when he found out that a Vietnam veteran was about to commit suicide near his home that he dashed to the scene in just minutes. Not only did Ali prevent the man from killing himself, he also personally drove him to the hospital. The oldest house in France. It is in the city of Aveyron, and it is at least 700 years old. 1945 French woman. This is how much food you can get for the cost of a pack of cigarettes in Australia. The Microsoft staff in 1978 and 2008 reunion. The single deadliest animal in history, the beast of Champort, killed 436 people over 7 years between India and Nepal. West Texas storm chaser Laura Rao captured the picture of a lifetime fantastic shot of a mature supercell thunderstorm, illuminated at varying heights from the setting sun. John F. Kennedy campaigning door-to-door in West Virginia, 1960. MMA fighter Justin Wren left the octagon and for the past 5 years has been fighting slavery and oppression in Africa. Wren has helped dig wells for clean water, grow and harvest food, and bought land that was taken from the Pygmy people. He's also working to replant trees in the areas deforested by companies seeking to exploit minerals there. He stopped fighting people to start fighting for the people. A true hero, indeed. Boys hanging out on Easter morning Southside Chicago, Illinois, April 1941. London Zoo has placed a bag made from a critically endangered crocodile as a warning to the treats animals are facing. The bag was seized by border control. Nikola Tesla perfectly described a cell phone in 1926 as a vest pocket-sized device built on a global wireless system. When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole earth will be converted into a urge brain, which in fact it is, all things being particles of a real and rhythmic whole. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly, irrespective of distance. Not only this, but through television and telephony we shall see and hear one another as perfectly as though we were face to face, despite intervening distances of thousands of miles, and the instruments through which we shall be able to do all of this will fit in our vest pockets. Nikola Tesla, 1926. Athens, Greece, 1839. Not Photoshop glitch, just came out of mud bath. The Cistercian monks invented a numbering system in the 13th century, which meant that any number from 1 to 9,999 could be written using a single symbol. French street artist known as MMM paves cricks and holes with mosaics. This is also known as flacking. Based in the city of Lyon, France. A message in a bottle, tossed in the sea in Germany in 1913, believed to be the world's oldest, was presented to the sender's granddaughter. The bottle included 2 stamps from that time, so the finder would not incur a cost. The bottle was in the water for 101 years. In Poland, there is a LARP group that role plays as contemporary Americans. Bullshit Free Zone. Camera the size of a grain of sand. The creator of Sailor Moon, Naoko Takeuchi, has won several awards, including the 1993 Kodansha Manga Award for Sailor Moon. Takeuchi is married to Yoshihiro Togashi, the creator of Hunter x Hunter. Let's celebrate Naoko Takeuchi. She was a struggling artist when she created Sailor Moon. Elle was at a low place, so I write about girls I wished were my friends. This enormous cougar-shaped shadow appears only twice each year, one week in March, the other in September. Superstition Mountains, Apache Junction, Arizona. Kendrick Lamar's 2015 album To Pimp a Butterfly is higher rated on Rate Your Music from fans and critics than Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. New York, 1941. Hitler has not attacked us. Why attacked Hitler? Why not peace with Hitler? Europe for Europeans. America for Americans. Scotland makes period products free. The country is the first to offer tampons, sanitary pads and other menstrual products free of charge. The armored skeleton of Saint Pancratius at the Church of Saint Nicholas in Switzerland. The Mud Maid, a living sculpture changing with the seasons. A soldier's face before and after the war, 1941 versus 1945. This is a bonsai tree that was planted in 1625, survived the devastation of the Hiroshima bombing 77 years ago today, and is still growing today. Giants manager Alvin Dark said Gaylord Perry's hitting ability was so poor that they'll put a man on the moon before Gaylord Perry hits a home run. Perry's initial home run came on July 20th, 1969, 20 minutes after Neil Armstrong first set foot on the moon. A biblically accurate angel. Toronto restaurant renamed their burgers so they can be expensed to your job. Mini dry erase whiteboard. Diamond Chicken Burger. We relabeled our Diamond Chicken. $11. Ergonomic aluminum laptop stand. Double your fortune. The Double Your Fortune is now a laptop stand. $12.50. Wired earphones with mic. Emerald VG Burger. Been working through lunch or dinner? $10. Silicone keyboard cover. BYO Burger. Build your own burger, but make the boss pay. $10. Guardian Angels were a vigilante group that helped to fight crime and assisted the NYPD. Here they are on the New York City subway in 1980. Last sunset the 9th of September 2001. Twin Towers. During the Black Death, incoming ships were forced to wait for 40 days to prevent possible infection. The Italian word for 40, quaranta, is where we get the word quarantine. 5 days 40 hours for micron pens. Super proud of this one. The clearest image of Pluto captured by the New Horizons spacecraft. Margaret Hamilton, who took mankind to the moon, she is standing beside the codes she created to program the computer systems on the Apollo 11 spacecraft, 1969. I feel like people do not fully understand how much life changed for our species between 1900 and 2000. I still struggle to comprehend it. These events are 66 years apart. NASA has released a new image of Jupiter from the James Webb Telescope featuring 2 moons, 2 rings, and distant galaxies. This is not a light, it's the world's whitest material which reflects 99% of visible light. In 1997, a 14-year-old junior high school student named Nathan Zoner convinced his classmates to vote in favor of banning dihydrogen monoxide or DHMO, the chemical formula for water, as part of a science fair project. His project, titled How Gullible Are We?, showed how the use of a true fact can lead a scientifically and mathematically ignorant public to a false conclusion. Las Vegas police facing Mike Tyson after he'd just bitten Evander Holyfield's ear off, 1996. This is 90-year-old Susan Hoylett of Belgium. She passed away after refusing a respirator to combat COVID-19, telling her doctors, "Save it for the youngest who need it most. I've already had a beautiful life." Some North Korean money I have which is illegal to take outside of the country, making it mega rare. Russian famine of 1921. 6 peasants of the Baozuluk district pose with the remains of people they had eaten. Staircase designed by Leonardo da Vinci, 1516. The world's first on-land cruise ship is in South Korea. 140 million year old dinosaur femur found in France. 12 days ago in Rome, the road collapsed, trapping a person. After 9 hours of work, they discovered he was digging a tunnel, possibly to reach a bank vault, 300 meters away. Michelangelo's Moses is a marble sculpture made in 1513 to 15. One of the many details of this masterpiece is one very small muscle in the forearms that contracts only when lifting the pinky, otherwise it is invisible. Moses is lifting the pinky, therefore that tiny muscle is contracted.